Hello everyone, my name's Erin. Thanks for joining us today. And today I'm going to be tackling some concepts for characters that we need to have finished up for some last minute additions. And I've already done one of the three that I'm going to be doing. Specifically, I've gotten a character named Jethro done. And the next character I'm going to be doing is I believe his nephew or his grandnephew. I cannot remember what the exact relationship is, but he's basically Uncle Jethro or Great Uncle Jethro, so one of the two. And with that, we've got to make a Dibbin. A little sick Dibbin, but a Dibbin. So I'm going to keep Jethro over off to the side here and get started on this. Actually, that probably isn't what I want to do. Sorry about the music, guys. I had it pretty low on my side. Is that better? Let me know. So as a Dibbin, I'm going to go ahead and start. Probably gonna have some big ears. Heads are rough for kids. Kids have generally bigger heads, bigger eyes, so we're gonna be focusing on those two things with the Dibbins. They're much more about we already have a very much a 3-3-3 thing going. So it's actually this in terms of what the proportions are for our mice. So what I'm going to do for Dibbins is probably do more of a half and half, approximately. Or at least we'll figure out which way we want to go. As it is, he's kind of feeling a little tall, so probably gonna go like this. Just pull it down a little bit. Give him the big anime eyes. He's not a young Dibbin, he's not I think it's hard to tell because I'm trying to remember what the actual different age ranges are, but if I was to put him onto the human age, I would put him at about 10 years old, I think is what our age is approximately. Which doesn't make him a youngin', he's not a teenager. But he's still young. And the other thing is that specifically, so this is William that we're making. Here's his name up on the board. William is sick in the story, and these two characters specifically, the story of the scout is being told by Jethro to William because William is sick. as are a couple of other Dibbons, but William gets to be special because he is related to Jethro. Yeah, he's still young, but he's not like a little baby. Little Dibbon. So I'm just gonna start here. It's a little bit of potato sack, but I see that I've seen Dibbons like described as being like anywhere from up to like about 10, and then they start being called youngins. So like yeah, I would put William as being about an old Dibbon, but still a Dibbon. At the youngest being maybe like a 5-year-old range. Oh, we babe. I think so. They're the ones that are rarely in the stories because they don't get talked about because they can't speak, so they can't really wander. I don't know. If you guys have read, I think it's, oh gosh, which book is it? Tagrung. I believe it's Tagarung, where there's actually a sickness in Redwall, and one of the otters goes off to find the cure, which is a specific flower up north, and the Dibbon ends up going with him. And that Dibbon, especially the way it's like that Dibbon speaks and like it kind of acts, that one I imagine being more toddler-esque, or maybe like 4. Yeah, that could be a good like age range. I probably put it, Babe still being like, once they've learned to like walk and talk, so maybe about 3, and then from 3 to 10 being Dibbons. Because like until they're not toddling around, I don't know. That's my thing, my thought. But that's not something we've actually talked about. Is like how old is William? So but William could be anywhere from like, I would say probably 7 to 10 years, or in this case, maybe 3 seasons. I'm gonna give that an approximation there. I don't know. I don't know how to measure in the Redwall terms. Big enemy eyes. Probably too big there. Alright, so now that we have like at least a startup for what this should look like for him. Jethro is going to go away for a little bit. I'm going to adjust these eyes a little bit, figure out which way we kind of want to go. There are 4 seasons, but mice, in my mind, age differently, age faster. And I think that's because like mice don't usually live as long as humans do. And they've spoken about the fact that badgers live longer than mice. So they measure their age with seasons. Like mice can be more than 1 year old type of stuff, but I think they don't reach maturity within a year, but maybe about 2 to 3 years. So they have about maybe 3 or 4, somewhere between 12 to 16 seasons under them before they get to that age. So yeah, but the scale of time is wonky. So, I don't know. Like, they always say I'm many seasons old. Or many seasons ago. They don't talk about it in terms of years. They track via seasons. Yeah, scale isn't a good thing to keep changing, but we could always mess a little bit with seasons. Or at least, if we needed to. Okay, right now I'm kind of like, this is the 3D modeler in me, I'm kind of modeling it, I'm kind of like getting the faces, his face pieces out, like proportion-wise. And so instead of giving him actually just big eyes, I'm giving him big eye area. Yeah. Yeah, that. Where's my Jethro? I need to look at his eye size. We haven't quite gotten to... Well, we have foxes in there, in our scale. We don't have adders, though. Yeah, actually, adders might be an issue. We might end up making adders bigger than foxes, depending on sizing, or we just have to use tricky perspectives. Okay, so there's Jethro. Of these two, and like especially with this big eye size, I kind of like this one. It still feels about right compared to that, but because his head is smaller, it makes his eyes feel bigger. Which is really one of the things that happens with real babies anyway. That's what, well... Are you talking about this one? I want to name this one. Or two. It's kind of covered up the other one's Jethro. Or little William. Like, yeah, I think I'm going to go with actually the center one anyway. Like, I figured I was like, these eyes are just way too big for what we're wanting. I did draw those on the wrong layers. Things to remember. No, not wrong layers. Did I just cut? I did just cut off his hand. Oops. Things. Yep, I totally cut off that hand there. See, that's what I accidentally put on the wrong layer. Speaking of that. Okay, so if we're gonna go with this. I know I want this size here. Thanks, Beast, and welcome to the stream. So what have you guys been up to? Have you been having a good week? It's almost weekend, which I know for some people doesn't mean anything because they work weekends. But how have people's weeks been? Okay, I think I just need to do this because I'm getting mixed up. I haven't really, but I also like to, kind of like to just, Nova. Specifically to Nova, I've considered it, but I haven't really used it, but partially because people's faces aren't perfectly symmetrical. And when we end up modeling these characters, they end up, for the most part, their body size we'll use the symmetry tool there. But for drawing them, I kind of like the little like imperfections that give them a little bit more life. And for the soundtracks, these are actually some of these are in progress tracks that we actually are using in the game. But this is music that's going into our game. Some of it's been scrapped, but most of it hasn't. Okay, the danger I have with having such a big eye face that isn't nearly as kind of beady eye looking is that I don't want him to look like a cat. I have so much issues with that. I did not make Martin's jig. But that was my husband who wrote it. And if I remember correctly, he is playing the fiddle for that part. I think I know the projected time, but at the same time, because I'm a little bit nervous about getting that wrong and not wanting to put out actual dates, I'm going to go ahead and leave that to official Facebook posts to put those dates out. Yeah, no, but James is the one who wrote Barton's jig, and he's the one who's doing the sound direction on the game. Okay, so on to Little William. Because he's a little divin, I'm going to start going ahead and add a little bit of fur. And he's going to have just little bits of fur, not like a whole bunch of fur, compared to like Jethro does. And I'm going to go ahead and have him like, just a little bit to like makes him feel a little bit younger. Yeah. Like, no, he doesn't get little beards or anything like that. Just no, I said that and then I tried to draw in a beard. Alright, have the head. I'm like not using any of this space right now. I could be. That's a hard one to answer. For a while I was saying it was I think it's Tagrung. Yeah, the Tagrung is the title. I was saying it was Tagrung. But Tagrung was my favorite book. But right now I'm reading Loam Hedge, and it's been really really fun and different. In case you haven't read it, there's a part where some youngsters get into trouble, and I'm enjoying the fact that there's actual consequences for them getting into trouble and adults having to deal with them, and that's like, oh my goodness, I like that. Hasn't happened it's happened in some of the books, but like nothing like it's like I'm looking forward to seeing their growth as characters. And as for character designs, I really enjoy the process of making Sophia. But I think one of my favorite recent ones, would have to be a tubby guy named Rootsworth, which I don't know if I have him available for you guys to see right now, so sorry. Let's just say big old guy. Who actually has fuzzy mustache, fuzzy eyebrows. When I say big, he actually is. Like, he's got the belly. Little Rootsworth. Rough Rootsworth. I do really like how the otters, like, their general, like, personalities, and they're kind of like their, like, personal, like, species related culture is really fun. I don't know why. I want to say, like, squirrels would be awesome, but so far only one of the squirrel characters really has stood out to me, and that was Sam. Sam? I think it's Sam. And in Salamandastron, I think the character's name's Sam. But squirrels tend to be given these squeaky high voices, and it's like, that's not... That tends to get a little bit on my nerves. So, by the way, this is what I do when I don't want to redraw something. It's essentially mirroring, right? Probably, I can imagine that'd be right. Okay, so I'm gonna give him a little, like, scarf? Someone make him look like... I'm thinking... a vest. I'm trying to figure out if I give him high pants or not. Yes, I would say that there would be, and there's probably plans to. The issue is that our game takes place in the winter. So it's like, you really wouldn't want to be showing too much when it's cold outside. Like, actually, one of the things I'm considering with this guy here is, because he's supposed to be sick, and when we show him, we are actually planning. I'm wondering if I can maybe I should put him in like a long nightshirt, like just a nightshirt kind of thing. That's one option. And in regards to weapons, no, we're not actually incorporating weapons. It's a sneaking style game. And you don't play as a character who can really wield weapons, or has not been trained to wield them either. Yeah, just the extra bits of warmth. Although I am thinking about with this guy's, like, maybe we should just go with this instead. I'm thinking about it, and the more I'm thinking about it, the more I want to. Still gonna give him this little scarf because I kind of wanted him to have a little bit of a signature piece. To answer your question, Beast, the game, the Scout game specifically takes place the winter before the very first Redwall game. So we're not following a specific story that has been established in the books, but it is very much connected. It takes place basically a season or two before the Summer of the Late Rose. Yes, there will be. Otherwise, like, how do you get a story to move along if there's no conflict of some sort? But I suspect you're asking about. I suspect that you're specifically asking about, like, if there's violence or that kind of conflict. And yes, we have rats involved. We have and mice. It's mice, but these mice aren't trained to be able to fight. So it's really more about sneaking around and hiding from the rats. Maybe it's your quilt. Not quilt. Your tapestry that you designed, Nova. Maybe that's what he has bundled around him. Okay. Here's something that you guys can help me with. What color fur should he have? I'm currently just masking out what area I want to color in, but we can start discussing how we want him to look. Oh, where did that move? Why did that get moved? Ah. Okay, right now they're the same size, but we know that's not going to be the case forever. You know, we could just keep him white like this. Just make him a ghost. Really just... I had a really dark thought about like, oh, hey. Maybe he's telling the story to sick little ghostly William. That was sad. I know. I can't believe it went there. Actually can't believe it, but I'm surprised it went there on stream. Wasn't expecting to. Oh no, hey JC. Glad you made it. It's okay, there's still a bit of time. We're currently working on Jethro and William. William's on the left, Jethro's on the right. Okay, chestnut. And yeah, so that's what we're working on. William is the Dibbin that's on the left. He looks really big. Who is actually supposed to be shrunk down, but because I was not using as much space as I could, I wanted to make him bigger to work with. Okay, chestnut. Okay, so I'm gonna put... Oops. My computer's lagging back behind a little bit. I'm not sure how much I could do about that, so... This is more of an orange. Chestnut. Alright, I'm gonna give you two options. Tell me which one you want. Which one is your chestnut? I mean, and then if you needed to see, that's the color. We could just make him Neapolitan. Like, no, just color him like this. Here we go. Hello, Akila. Okay, so how about we try that? I mean, his Jethro's color palette is, you have to keep in mind he's also like the second generation. He's not the father to son relationship here. Oh my goodness, yes he does. So it's okay if it's okay like if you have like if he's slightly different coloring there. We can always give him the same blue eyes. Actually, speaking of that, let's just do that now. You know what we can do? I think I have an idea. I'm going to save this other color. That's one option. And then here's the other one. Kind of like the idea of it. It's not at all like the same, like necessarily the same family. Like they don't necessarily look similar enough. But I can always change Jethro to have more similar coloring. Sorry. He looks kind of angry. Alright, so if I do reason why I'm kind of like I like the idea of coloring the underside of his eyes is it makes his eyes look look lighter. But the thing is that like you don't really start to get masculine looks even on kids until they're really older anyway. So and it's not going to help that his eyes are big anyway. That's something he is named after. Well, after Liam. Who knows? Okay, so we have, yeah. I'm sorry, just with this over here, he just looks so angry with the eyebrow being highlighted, and it's like, ah, kind of like this one better. And really, the thing about this is, give me a second. So, if we take what we've done there, ew, sad. Sad one. Oops, wrong color. And maybe he has. Blinky. Yeah, sad, sick one. Nothing we can do. Could do something like that. No, that's just not working. I think that was Zach who sneezed. That's exactly what they want. They want sneezing. They want Chris to respond to them. They like it when Chris talks back. Here, we can make them speckled, but this feels more like a horse fur pattern than an actual mouse fur pattern. Mice are about 3 units beast. They're about so everything is measured in mice. You have to go with this height, or this guy's height over here, rather than little Dibbin mouse. Like, or the fact that there's a sick Dibbin in the way. This is about our sizing there. I'd have a little bit more cleanup on him. But mice are, like, it'd be probably more, like, if you have to give a measurement to the mice, then they're about 3 feet tall. However, what we're doing is we're kind of sizing everything around the mice in a way that the mice are like, mice feel like kids in this world. So, rats are about 1.5 mice tall. Like, mice are our unit measurement here. However, that said, I can tell you right now that mice are not like what you'd think. The world isn't like sized to being ridiculously big around the mice like they are in real life. Like, mice are not small things living in a human like world. They're more about the size of a child. So yeah. Alright, guys. Surprisingly, I actually was expecting this to take more around 30 minutes, and I was going to do the other character with you guys. However, it is about 2 o'clock, so I'm probably going to cut it right here. We now have a nice little Dibbin to go be read a story. And yeah. Now I'm gonna go off on my own and make a female mole. This being our one male mole right now. Anyway, enjoy your guys' day. Have fun. And just good luck. What do you do?